Well, for more on this story, we are joined by Ekurhuleni Housing MMC Kgopelo Hollo. MMC, thank you so much for joining us, and a good evening to you. Obviously, as we wait for the court to decide on the fate of these 28 individuals, questions certainly do still remain about what is being done to support this community that has seen these RDP houses burned down because of a lack of housing. So just from your perspective as MMC, what is going on in the area of Villa Liza and work that is being done where housing is concerned?
Good evening, Naledi and viewers at home. We have had several unrest in the area of Liza due to the housing projects. One of those was that the project which was initiated back in 2016, whereby about 300 service stands were placed. However, we had experienced invasion by the community members, whom, as we speak, we understand that there's an investigation which is taking place under SIU through the attorneys which was appointed by the city. So the unrest also was caused by the process which was initiated by the Housing Department of Human Settlement to benefit those who occupied the rental stock of the city prior 1993 through the regularization and transfer of ownership program. However, as we speak now, we are investigating this matter through the SIU and through the attorneys of the city.
Yeah, and that is obviously important, those investigations, but perhaps you can paint us a picture, and I think a great opportunity here to look at some of the challenges that Ekurhuleni is facing from a housing backlog point of view, and some concerning hotspots that you feel are starting to see more and more desperation for access to housing.
Indeed, Naledi, we're experiencing a housing backlog. It's around 370,000. And out of these 370,000, more than half of them are found in the informal settlement and the hostels. So currently, as the city, in the pipeline, we've got around 59,000 housing opportunities which are fully subsidized with the program which we call RDP housing. And then we're planning on increasing that in the next financial year. If you may remember, is that as the city, we receive direct the USDG, which is the grant we receive direct from the National Treasury. And then the ISUPG came on board, which is assisting us now to relieve the backlog in the informal settlement by ensuring that we reblock and realign the informal settlement so that there's the access roads, there's the access water and sanitation. And then temporarily it gives a relief to our people because the intolerance is out there, and we understand that the housing backlog is very worrisome. However, we are trying together with the provincial government, which is the one holding the HSDG grant, which is meant for the top structures. As the city, we only being allocated around 2 billion annually from the National Treasury direct. This is mainly to put the bulk infrastructure, which will include the reticulation. Also, it includes a water supply and then electricity and the roads to the projects which are meant to build the fully subsidized housing. So this is the reason why we are facing this backlog. However, in the past financial year, we were able to allocate more than 1,400 housing opportunities to the residents of Ekurhuleni, and we hope that going forward we will ensure that we resolve the housing issues in the city.
Yeah, one issue that has been raised by the mayor, of course, is just the use of these RDP houses by recipients, the issue of residents that tend to then build more structures in the property that they then get, building rooms for rental, for instance. Of course, the mayor having raised an issue about how this is really affecting services, especially the provision of electricity. What is it that is in the power of the government and local government to deal with that issue?
Indeed, through our bylaws, Pluma, everyone who's willing to extend their property, but also to include bedrooms for rental purposes, they need to apply with the city through our sister department, city planning, and then they should get approvals. This will give ease to the water supply in the area, because when you plan project, you plan according to the number of units and the family size of the families which are going to occupy those units. Once you expand and extend without informing the city, and then it will now affect the entire plan, as now you are dealing with double or triple the capacity of the population, which initially the bulk infrastructure or the infrastructure was not meant to accommodate that kind of magnitude. So it's a challenge. We just want to appeal to our people that should you want to extend or should you want to build more for rental purposes, please apply with the city so that we can give approvals and give you a go ahead.
Yeah, and then you've got projects that were supposed to take off, but simply have not. What is the update on the TBISA housing project? We understand had 371 million rand reportedly spent on it. That's an extension 25 of TBISA, but no work having been done there. What is the update on that project?
Actually, this project was initiated back in 2019, just before COVID. It's 80% complete. However, during COVID season, we have experienced that people, because now there's no security on site, then people went to hijack this property. And also the contractor was no longer on site. But the issue now remains that after getting control from these people who hijacked the building, we need to unlock HSDG, as our accreditation as the city does not allow us to access this grant direct from the national. So it's the only grant which can be utilized to complete the units in TBISA extension 25. However, through our IGR with the MEC of Human Settlements in the province, we have reached agreement that the private province will have to come and then take over these projects and complete them. However, we understand that there was the money which we suspect was spent irregularly, and this needs to be looked into. This report, I believe it went for MPEC for interrogation for those who have been here before us so that they can explain. However, the project I can safely attest that it's 80% complete.
Yeah. Let me ask you just one final question. We'll go back to the story that our reporter Malungelo Boy was following throughout the day in Villa Liza in Boksburg. We await judgment, but these 28 individuals that we await to hear their judgment, and certainly the beneficiaries of the houses that were vandalized, the ideal outcome for you, MMC, where that matter is concerned. What would you ideally like to see?
Yes, if it was up to me, I was going to ensure that the rightful beneficiaries of these service stands get allocated. However, because this matter now is in the hands of SIU, remember some of these service stands, as we speak, they've been transferred to the ownership of individuals whom we don't know, we don't have them in our system. And then now it's a question that how did they access the information, particularly council resolution, which is being required before you can transfer council proclaimed a property into someone's name. So now it's under investigation. However, we just want to appeal with our people that they be more patient. This matter will be resolved, and then indeed the transfer can be reversed, and then they will be able to access their services.
Yeah, we really do appreciate your time, MMC. Thank you so much. Kgopelo Hollo there, who is the Ekurhuleni MMC for housing, giving us an update on the situation in Villa Liza, as we saw. Of course, the judgment expected to be delivered today on 28 individuals who were arrested in connection with violence that saw 3 houses and 8 cars belonging to community liaison officers burned. But that issue going back a few years. And we thought, let's dip in and find out what the situation of housing looks like in Ekurhuleni. And here on Newsfeed PM, of course, a deep focus that we do have on local government. So do tune in every evening as we check in on our municipalities across the country.